A very good afternoon to all of you friends. On behalf of everyone out here, I welcome each and every one of you for today's live session. A very good evening to all of you friends. A very good evening to all of you and welcome to this very important session that we are running for CLAT aspirants, a daily legal important affairs. So every legal important news will be covered at 8 o'clock every day. So welcome friends to this very important session of March 2nd. Now, since you guys are preparing for CLAT 2021 and 2022, these important news in other formats, for example, a passage will be given in your examination. Now, these passages will be based on important legal events. Now, these are those important legal events which a student who is preparing for CLAT must be aware of. Okay, so let's begin with today's important session. But before that, Gradeup brings to you up to 50% flat discount on Gradeup Super subscription. So on your Gradeup Super subscription, you can avail up to 50% flat discount on your Gradeup subscription. Apart from that, Gradeup also brings to you a 2-month revision course on current affairs and legal events. Gradeup also brings to you a booster crash course for CLAT 2021 aspirants. A very important session for students who are preparing for MHCT and SLAT. An express crash course for students who are limiting their chances of getting into a law school insofar as MHCT and SLAT is concerned. So those of you who are from Maharashtra and want to get into the Maharashtra CET exam, here is a particular very important express course that has been brought by Gradeup. Gradeup also brings to you a 30-day crack CLAT in just 30 days. So these YouTube sessions will be available free of cost. So definitely avail and definitely see these sessions. So moving to the important legal affairs. Now, a very important order has come from the Bombay High Court. The Bombay High Court has granted bail to former BARC CEO Partho Dasgupta in the TRP scam case. Now, I'm sure that most of you are aware of the TRP scam in which the Mumbai police alleges that Partho Dasgupta had taken certain money to give better rating to Republic TV channel. Okay, so Arnab Goswami, editor-in-chief of the Republic television, had apparently or allegedly has paid money to Partho Dasgupta for spiking or giving a better TRP, for getting better TRP ratings for their channel. The Bombay High Court, he was in jail for some time now. He was arrested by the Mumbai police. Today, the Bombay High Court has granted Partho Dasgupta a bail. The first important news. The second important news is that the Supreme Court is a little angry with the central government. And why? because the government has failed to install CCTV cameras inside every probe agency's office. Now, last year itself, in the year 2020 itself, the Supreme Court of India directed, what did it do? It directed the central government that in every police station, in every place where an agency, where the central agency or a state agency can interrogate or will conduct probe, there has to be installation of CCTV cameras. Now, the Supreme Court had directed the center to allocate funds, make sure that every police station has CCTV cameras. Now, this order has still date not been followed, and hence the Supreme Court got a little angry with the central government for not installing CCTV cameras inside every central probe agency's office. Now, the third important legal affairs. The Madras High Court has stated that bail a necessary implication of Article 21. So, right to bail, right to get a bail, if a person has been accused of a particular crime, he has a right. He is entitled for bail, and that emanates out of Article 21. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution deals with right to life and personal liberty. Now, personal liberty means right to travel. And in Maneka Gandhi's case, the Supreme Court upheld that every citizen has a right to travel abroad. If a person is restricted from traveling abroad, that is violative of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So the Madras High Court in this particular order or a judgment has said that bail, a person who is accused of having committed a crime, he has a right to get a bail. Cancellation of bail should not be done mechanically. Now, just because an application has been filed against a person who is on bail, asking the court to cancel his bail, the court should look into the matter properly while cancelling his bail, which it has already granted. So the Madras High Court has essentially stated that once bail has been granted to a particular accused, so once bail is granted to a particular accused, and when an application is filed in the court, to cancel his bail, the court should not cancel that person's bail mechanically. It has to apply his mind before doing such an act. Okay, so that was the important news number 3. Moving on to important news number 4. A public interest litigation has been filed in the Supreme Court of India seeking an establishment for Transgender Welfare Board, a standing committee to investigate gross abuse against trans person by police. So a public interest litigation has been filed in the Supreme Court of the country seeking an establishment, seeking a body of Transgender Welfare Board. Now, as on today, we do not have a Transgender Welfare Board. So a group of people have approached the Supreme Court of India asking that a Transgender Welfare Board be constituted. Moving to point number 5, the important news of the day. The government of India has finally notified the Information and Technology Rules 2021. Now, what are the implications of this particular notification? The OTT platforms, for example, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hotstar, that we subscribe for live streaming or other streaming platforms. So every streaming platform will come under the government's new rule or the new regime which has been made only for the OTT platforms. Have I made myself clear? So these are the most important 5 important news of the day. And as you are aware of, we are going to discuss some issue in detail. Now let's understand these important issues in detail. The first one, the government of India has right now made it clear that new rules will be made and has been made, and today it was notified that new rules for social media. So if you are watching Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hotstar, and any other live streaming platform or other streaming platform, these all platforms will come under the new rules that the government has enacted. Now it has come into being. Now let's understand what is the new enactment or the new law all about. Now the government of India, now over the last 6 or 8 months, you will find that OTT platforms, now owing to this pandemic that we had in across the world, the norm changed and we started working from home. Now once people start working from home and there is a COVID-19 pandemic, people felt that, okay, I will not go to a movie hall, but I want to see a particular movie. So people started subscribing to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, and a number of other streaming platforms. Now, owing to these, the government says that various people are taking advantage of these platforms. Now, how are people taking advantages? The government says that people are uploading such videos, such deliberation which might concern the national security of the country. Okay. Now, every person under the Indian Constitution has a freedom of speech and expression. The Supreme Court of the country on a number of occasions have categorically stated that a director of a movie, a producer of a movie has a freedom of speech and expression and it is portrayed by its production films. So when a director is directing a movie, he is exercising his freedom of speech and expression. Now the government of India very simply states that certain videos have been uploaded in various websites, especially owing to the abrogation of Article 370, enactment of the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, the Kashmir issue, as well as the recent farmer agitation that is going on. So keeping in mind these 3 important events that has happened, that has taken place in the last 1.5 years. So in the last 1.5 years, we had seen abrogation of Article 70. We also saw some amount of great repercussions in the farmers' protest. We also saw the revolt in the streets by normal people during the CAA protest. So, importantly, on 3 occasions, we people have seen how social media like Facebook, like other social media network, okay, Instagram and other places where, a concerted plan had taken place to mobilize people, especially during the Delhi riots. So even during the Delhi riots that took place about a year back, yeah, absolutely. One year back, during this time, there was a Delhi riot during that Namaste Trump. Okay, I hope you remember that. Now, owing to these kind of various incidents that has taken place on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, where footages have been published, now the government wants to bring the OTT platform under its control. Now the question is, now the thing is this, whether the government has a right to do so. Now the government says that if you are uploading a video which can threaten the sovereignty or the security of the country, then such a video has to be pulled out of the streaming channel. The government says that it shall have an overriding power in every step. Now, first, 2 important things that you must know about it. Who is the Minister for Information and Technology? Who is the Minister for Information and Technology? Ravi Shankar Prasad. Who is the Law Minister of the country? Ravi Shankar Prasad. Who is the Minister for Information and Broadcasting? Prakash Javadekar. These are the very, very important things. I am sure that you guys are noting all these things down, because these things are absolutely very important for all of you. Now, what does this new rule talk about? It talks about a 3-tier grievance redressal mechanism. So this new law that has been brought up, this new law that has come into being, talks about 3 levels of grievance redressal. The first tier will be the OTT provider itself. So if you have any kind of a complaint that a particular video that has been uploaded is really bad for the security of India, then the first complaint will be made and it has to be addressed within 50 days. Okay. Now the second tier would be a tier of self-regulatory body of a retired judge of the High Court or the Supreme Court, or an independent eminent person, someone from the media or the broadcasting or the entertainment industry. Also, people from the child rights groups or human rights group can come together, forming a second tier. Now, the second tier will also look into whether a particular TV series or a particular serial is violative of the code or not. Now, the third tier mechanism says that the government will have an overriding powers of doing anything and everything. So the government reserves its right to do anything and everything, and that is a concern. Now, in a democracy, we all have a right to dissent. Now, if someone tomorrow uploads a video of a farmer protesting in the Singhu border, Now, the government can easily say, or a person can tomorrow easily say that here is a man who is uploading such videos which is causing problem to India's security. Now, can he be nabbed down? Can his Twitter account be just stopped? Can he be banned? Now, these are larger questions that the court, and I'm sure of it, that this law will definitely be challenged in the High Court or in the Supreme Court. And we have to wait for a judgment to come down from the apex court before the controversy finally ends up. So, guys, all you need to think is whether the government, now in this particular law, the government has overwhelming powers to do anything and everything, muzzling down the media, muzzling down the OTT platform. For example, in the very recent days, we see a lot of screening of movies happening in the OTT platform. So a three-tier government a grievance redressal mechanism, with the government reserving all right to do anything and everything. Now this particular law also deals with classification of movies. Now, classification of these CDs or these videos can be U, that is universal, U adult 7 plus, that is aged till people who are 7 plus can only see. UA 13 plus, that only children who are 13 plus can see. UA 16 plus and adult. So these are the various categories of content that has to be verified. There will be every video will have something like UA7, UA13 plus, UA16, or A or U. Whichever you fall, the video falls, that has to be mentioned from now on. So the government says that every OTT platform will have to classify contents into 5 age-based categories. So these 5 age-based categories are there up on your screen. Now moving ahead, the government, by virtue of this particular code, would want to create an Internet and Mobile Association of India secretariat for the court. Now, the mobile industry, the internet industry, this social media industry, they are pretty well linked. So you have Facebook, you have Google, you have Twitter, you also have internet companies, okay? For example, you have Jio, you have Airtel, you have Vodafone and others. So Internet and Mobile Association of India. So there is an association of India called the Internet and Mobile Association of India that is going to form a code to administer and implement a code. Now this code has been made available to people. Now what is this self-regulatory code? Now this self-regulatory code will be made and will be distributed to every people, all OTT platform owners, so that they get a full understanding of what are the relevant laws, what is the grievance redressal mechanism, or the training programs for creative and legal terms, awareness programs for customers, and implementation of a detailed audit and compliance mechanism. So the government of India is today making a code that every OTT platform has to abide by. So friends, if you are liking the session, do press the like button, do comment on the video, do share this video with your friends, and definitely do not forget to subscribe to this wonderful channel. Up next, the Supreme Court of India is not very happy with the central government. And why is it so? And why is the Supreme Court not happy with the central government? Now, the Supreme Court previous year, had directed the union government, the central government, to take all necessary steps, for implementing a policy. And what is this policy? The policy was that there has to be installation of CCTV cameras in every police station, in every CBI office, in every central probe agency's office. So this was a direction that was given by the Supreme Court of India last year. And I'm sure from today's headline, you get to know why is the Supreme Court not happy with the central government. Because the central government has failed to follow the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. So today the Supreme Court of India has expressed certain concerns over the center for non-installation of CCTV cameras in Central Probe Agency. The Supreme Court has observed that a person has a right to complain about human rights violation to the National or the State Human Rights Commission, Human Rights Court, or the Superintendent of Police, or any other authority empowered to take cognizance of an offence. It shall further mention that the CCTV footage, very, very important, it shall further mention that CCTV footage is preserved for a certain minimum time period, which shall not be less than 6 months, and the victim has a right to have the same secured in the event of violation of his human rights. So the Supreme Court of India, now why has this observation come from the Supreme Court? Now most of you know, we all want to believe and think that police are very good people. I really want to have a great police force in India. Now, the fact is that there has been certain amount of allegation. There has been certain amount of allegation that the police does a third degree, gives a third degree, does a lot of human rights violation in lockups or in police stations. Now, when a person suppose a person has been arrested, now the police generally takes him out to take them to the police station. Now, there are certain types of allegation against the police, and that is that the police is using third degree, the police is violating those people's human rights. Now, keeping all these things in mind, the Supreme Court last year had directed that CCTV footage of all police stations have to be installed, number one. Secondly, they have to be kept for a minimum period, so that if there is any allegation of human rights violation, then the CCTV footage can be gone into. Now, various directions came from the Supreme Court. Now, this is very, very important, friends, that even a person who has been accused of a crime also has certain fundamental right. He also is a human being. Just because a person is arrested doesn't mean that he is not a human being or he ceases to be a human being. Now, since he is a human being, he has human rights. So if he says, now there have been many examples where people have come and have said that the police ill-treats especially the inmates in a jail or especially in a lockup. So in view of that, the Supreme Court had directed the central government for initiation of a policy whereby every police station across India will have to install CCTV cameras. Now, this was an order that came in Paramveer Singh Sahani versus Baljit Singh. The Supreme Court said that right to report violation of human rights is a fundamental right of each citizen of India guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution, and nothing substantial has been done in this regard for a period over 2.5 years, as was directed in Shafi Muhammad's versus State of Himachal Pradesh. So the initial order came in Shafi Muhammad. In 2018, the Supreme Court in Shafi Muhammad stated that every police station needs to have CCTV cameras. After 2.5 years in 2020, the Supreme Court finally gave us a warning to the central government: implement the direction given in Shafi Muhammad, because every police station does not have these CCTV cameras. Now, what is the direction of the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court said that police authorities have to implement the order of Shafi Muhammad, wherein the Supreme Court said that in every police station there has to be a CCTV camera. That order has to be implemented in letter and spirit. The Supreme Court ordered that a person has a right to complain about human rights violation, either to the State Human Rights Commission or to the National Human Rights Commission or to a Human Rights Court or to the Superintendent of Police. Now, it is the duty of these important agencies to take cognizance of human rights violation. Do keep in your mind that human rights is a fundamental right. Fundamental rights are very, very basic human rights. These are all natural rights. Most of these rights have been developed from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Before we end today's class, let me just tell you one thing, friends. You must all read tonight. After the class is over, I want each and every one of you to read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights before you go off to sleep. It is just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, okay? So that is what the Supreme Court in Paramveer Sahani said insofar as Shafi Muhammad's direction for installing CCTV cameras in police station is concerned. So these are certain important news that a student who is preparing for CLAT must know. So in conclusion, what does this case say? That if a person who is held in custody and there is a custodial excess or torture. Now, there many a time people who are taken into custody by the police accuse the police of custodial excess or torture by the police. Now, it is the duty of every citizen, because custodial torture is absolutely illegal. It is the duty of every citizen to report such cases either to the State Human Rights Commission or to the National Human Rights Commission, to a Human Rights Court or to the Superintendent of Police. Now, when such complaints may not only be made to the State Human Rights Commission or the Human Rights Courts, it is a duty of the state. What we feel, or what I feel, is that it is a duty of every state to set up in every district a human rights court. It is the duty of the state to set up a human rights court in every district of every state. Now, why? Now, we in India have a Human Rights Act of 1993. Now, under the 1993 legislation that we have in India, Section 30 of this Act very categorically states that it is the duty of the central government to install, to set up a district court which is to look after human rights violation. That means Section 30 of the Human Rights Act talks about setting up of a human rights court, and till date the law has become around 40-year-old. It is going to become 40-year-old very soon, but till date we do not have such a court in every district. So it is the duty of the center to make such courts, that is human rights court, in every district, but it has not done so till date, and hence a major concern. So these are those two important events that we have discussed today, friends. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Now, in case you guys have any doubts, you are most welcome to ask me. Okay? In case you guys have any doubts, any confusion, you are most welcome to ask me. Okay, fantastic. Now, friends, those of you who are in class 11, there is a very, very important course that has been launched for you. Prepare for CLAT 2022 with Gradeup. A comprehensive course along with Foundation Module Batch 2 has been launched. So those of you who are in class 11, here is your chance to make your dream come true. Okay, friends. Now, the Gradeup subscription, I got a question. Sir, I want to ask one thing. I'm in grade 10 now. Shall I start my preparation for CLAT for 11th or after 12th? I think, of course, class 10, I think is too young. I think you should start your preparation. Chahat Khandelwal, I think you should start your preparation from 11th beginning. Okay, I think 11th beginning is a good time to start your preparation. Okay, so friends, do subscribe to Gradeup Super for CLAT and other law entrance examination, and for any course related query you can call us at 96500 52904 as well as 9319599 With this, we come to the end of today's class. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. And sahi prep hai to life set hai. Thank you. Good night.